And for a deeper look into the failed talks on the Ukraine crisis, earlier I spoke with William Courtney. He's obviously the adjunct senior fellow at the RAND Corporation, an organization that develops solutions to public policy challenges. He's also the former U.S. ambassador to Georgia and Kazakhstan. I started by asking him why the talks fell apart.
Well, the OSCE chairman of the talks, the OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, is mediating the talks. The chair of the talks today said that the separatist representatives wanted to renegotiate the ceasefire accords that were agreed last September and refused to talk about pulling heavy weapons back from the area of engagement. So it looks like it's something that the Russians and the separatists just did not want to go forward with.
Is there any chance that they will resume in the coming weeks, and what would determine this?
They may resume, but the key issue is whether Russia is willing to negotiate. Thus far, Russians at high levels and low levels have just really refused to negotiate because they see themselves evidently as continuing to make military progress on the ground. And typically the negotiations don't work until there's a balance of forces, until one side wants to cease aggression, if you will, and find some kind of settlement. And that time hasn't come yet.
I was just going to ask you, is there any way you can break down exactly what some of the sticking points are?
Well, part of it depends on what Russia's ambition is. Right now, it's at the northern part of the Azov Sea. It's on the verge of taking a railroad junction close to a large port city called Mariupol. It may want to take just that city because that city can be useful for exporting raw materials coming out of the occupied areas, or it may want to go further down to Crimea and create a land bridge to Crimea, which will help it support Crimea because Crimea needs outside support. Or Russia could go even farther and try to take Odessa, the third largest city in Ukraine and its largest port on the Black Sea. So the ambition of the Kremlin is still unknown.
About the humanitarian situation at this point, we understand that, at this point, dozens more have been killed. People are holed up in underground bunkers and just wherever they can get in basements of homes. How dire is it?
Oh, it's extremely dire. And it's been difficult for outside humanitarian agencies to get humanitarian support in. The Ukrainians can't really pay pensions and other support payments to people living in the area because the separatist rebels will seize the money. So the people there have almost no place to return. The coal mines that are a big part of the economy there, a lot of them are flooded because electrical power stations were shut off. So it's a very severe humanitarian catastrophe.
There's been a lot of pressure on Russia. In some cases it's worked. In some cases it seems like it has not. International pressure. What more can be done there?
Well, the European Union and the United States, President Obama, have talked about increasing sanctions. It's important that sanctions not impact ordinary people very much or civil society or private business, but remain targeted on those in Russia who are responsible for the aggression in Ukraine. But last spring, when first sanctions came about, people criticized them for being too weak. But what happened was the sanctions spooked investors in Russia and foreign investors there, and they began sending money out of Russia.